Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me for what I want to call Motivational Monday. We are going to talk today about a motivational topic for me in regards to hiring and just being the best instructor that I can be and hiring the best instructors that I can. I look for instructors who treat what they do as a career, not just as a hobby. And there are instructors out there who do it just for fun, and that's great. But I see the value of an instructor who definitely teaches classes because they absolutely love it and they take it very seriously and they do the best that they can to continue to grow their class. And even if they've had decent numbers over the years and done the same thing and not necessarily grown their career or their knowledge as an instructor, then they kind of get set in their ways. And I want this message to go out to not just managers as far as hiring great instructors who see their job as a career, but also for the instructors who might ask themselves a few of these questions that I'm about to give to you and think to yourself, you might just realize, am I kind of in that position right now? Am I noticing that I'm just kind of going through the motions as I teach my classes? And what are some easy things that I can do to make sure that I'm progressing and growing my career as an instructor? So some questions that I tend to ask people if I do an interview with them or just a casual meeting with them and they're interested in working for me, I ask them questions as to when was the last continuing education, either session at a conference or any kind of workshop that you've done. When was the last continuing education that you've done? And if they take a long time to answer or they really can't give me an exact date, then that's kind of the sign that it's been too long. It's something that people should be doing consistently, and hopefully if they have their primary certification, which we require at Pro Sports Club instructors have, they have to continue to maintain that by getting CECs. So that's an easy way to make sure that your instructors are continuing to get their continuing education. But I do run into sometimes people are like, I'm not sure when the last continuing education I have done was. So that's a very important way of telling, are they taking the time out of their own lives outside of class to learn and grow and get better? Because this industry we call fitness industry always changes and grows, and it's a very ebbing and flowing industry. We always have to be on top of our game as to what the newest trend is and what to watch out for. I also like to ask new or even instructors, when was the last time you changed your music? How often do you update your music? And if they don't have a clear timeline as to when they do that, because we all know if we change our music on a regular basis, how much work that is. Finding the correct song, matching it to the right audience, making sure that it works with whatever drill, especially if you're a cycling instructor, we're changing our music all the time. Yoga is just as important as changing their music if they use music in their classes. Anytime you're using music, we want to make sure we're changing it up. If we're getting really sick of it, we can definitely maybe identify that our participants are getting sick of it. And I see that added work into buying music and finding music on a regular basis, kind of having a timeline, being aware of that and creating that, helping that experience be part of the music and changing the music. That's definitely a sign that someone takes it seriously and it's part of their career if they're doing it regularly or they're aware of that important aspect of what they do. I also ask, when was the last time you took someone else's class? And it doesn't have to be the format that they teach. I just enjoy the fact that our instructors here take classes from each other all the time, and they know how important it is to me as a manager. And I know that as for myself, I have grown so much by taking our instructors' classes, learning so much from our team. It's changed the way I teach and how well I teach for sure. So I can see that someone going to another class and being a student and being willing to be a student is very important, and it shows that it's an example of them taking what they do as a career. And the last question I came up with is, when's the last time they filmed their class or they have recorded their voice while they're talking? I have to work on this all the time, and actually these videos have been a great way for me to work on my public speaking and my communication. But I feel like I've grown so much by seeing myself speak, and I've seen instructors who've watched themselves on film. You can tell an instructor and give them feedback all you want, But until they see it for themselves, that's when they really start to see what they can change, what they can improve on their cueing, on even their own body language. They might not even realize that their posture isn't quite right on a squat or a push-up until they see it for themselves, and then they can help them change it up and just be a better instructor. And sometimes just recording their voice, not necessarily filming themselves, is just one way of doing it. And actually in the session, whenever you are taking your time to film yourself or record yourself, you start to notice that during that time you even teach better, or you are a better instructor because you know something's listening or something's watching. So take those pieces of advice as a manager to ask those questions, maybe to people who are potentially going to work for you. Maybe ask your team. Kind of feel free to answer those questions yourself for yourself and see, when's the last time I changed my music? When's the last time I did a continuing education training? And if you have trouble remembering the date of any of those things, it's time to probably do some of those things. So stay motivated, stay excited, and have a great rest of your week.